Would like to call this very remarkable event to order and hand it over ceremony. Sorry, camera pressing. Please be careful. Sorry. Would like to call this ceremony to order and ask that we put our mobile phones on the silent mode. And we now ask all for individual silent prayer, please. Amen. Amen. I'll now invite the permanent secretary, Mr. Tamba E. Juana, for the welcome address and statement of purpose.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the MIC, Ministry of Information and Communications. I still continue to call it Ministry of Information and Communications because even though it has been divided or separated into two, politically and theoretically, it has still not been physically and administratively divided. So I will continue to call it MIC until that is done. Outgoing Honorable Minister of Information and Communications, incoming Minister of Information and Civic Education, incoming Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation, Deputy Minister of Information and Civic Education, Deputy Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation, Chairman NACSIC, they are present, colleagues of the Ministry of Information and Communications, guests that are with us this morning. I recognize the presence of the outgoing Minister of Information and Communications, Mr. Solomon Jamiru. The Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome to MIC. The scripture says that there is time for everything under the sun. The time to be born, any time to die.
Just before the time to die.
Well, you take of that. Okay, the time to die. But today, here, this morning, no one is dying and no one is being born again. It is a time to celebrate. When I talk about celebrations here, it is not a negative celebration. It's a celebration that looks back to 5 years of stewardship of the Honorable Minister of Information and Communications, outgoing, and his deputy. It is a celebration of the palpable and tremendous achievement of the Honorable Minister and his deputy for the last 5 years. It is also a celebration that would see him moving from a double nomenclature ministry to a triple nomenclature ministry. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is also a celebration for his superintendent of this ministry for the last 5 years. I guess we are not sending him with eagerness and happiness, but with sorrow. But at the same time, we are sending him off with happiness, because on Saturday morning, when ministers of the last 5 years woke up with aspirations and inspirations, and they looked at the list, they didn't find their names there. But of course, here we are today. The Honorable Minister is moving on to a new ministry, the Ministry of Employment, Labor and Social Security. On the other hand, the Deputy Minister, Solomon Jamiru, Solobi, the wise Solomon has stopped walking alone. He is now moving into the corridors of power. And of course, he will have the ears of His Excellency the President. And I know he will advise with decorum and equanimity. So it is a cause for celebration for those living. For those coming in, we want to welcome you heartily. You are taking over two ministries, which once used to be one. So it shows that it was a hard task for us at the ministry, having, these two components together. But of course, one would say the two ministries are coming with extra baggage. You have the new Ministry of Information, and now with NACSID added, you have the new Ministry of Communications with Technology and Innovation. So it shows that there will be focus on some of these additional names that are coming on board, especially in the area of the civic education and in the area of technology and innovation. So ladies and gentlemen, we're here this morning to celebrate these two events, the incoming and the outgoing. So at this moment, still being the permanent secretary for both ministries, still having one account, still having our staff mingling together as one, which perhaps by next week or the week after or so on, I don't know, there will be separation. So let us sit together, let us marry together, and let us celebrate this worthwhile occasion, which is the handing over ceremony of the batons of power to the two incoming ministers. At this moment, at this juncture, I would like to invite the moderator to do the rest of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my ears of the Ministry of Information and Communication. I mean, from the way he speaks, you know his background is from the diplomatic world. So he carefully selects his diction and words. Thank you very much, PS. On this note, I would like to invite our once able and most competent Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, the wise-skinned Solomon Jamiru Esquire, for a brief statement. Thank you.
Don't give us a cappella. We can do all the cappella.
Thank you. No, we get it. Mr. Minister,
who was my boss and will always be my boss, a friend, a mentor. Let me personally recognize you, Honorable Mohamed Rahman Soare. And so I'm grateful to God Almighty and His Excellency's trust that I was privileged the opportunity to work with you, first from 2018 until it pleased His Excellency the President, in the course of the reshuffle, to consign me to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperations, and back to the ministry to join you, and indeed we continued the fantastic work we both started. And I will similarly pay tribute to the many things we did together, from the repeal of the historic obnoxious law to the fight that we fought for and on behalf of the journalists in Sierra Leone that saw an augmentation in subventions to journalists, to having Sierra Leone's landmark law in cybersecurity and crime, and also having a phenomenal law today within the context of communications that eventually repealed and replaced the National Telecommunications Law in 2006. I would not speak to the wide range of activities and things we did together, but also on the information landscape, our attempts and our efforts to widening and deepening outreach to get His Excellency and government's message and activities out, and making sure that His Excellency the President gets the much needed visibility that he so deserved and required. I consider both of us as a peer, Mr. Minister, tremendously blessed, because in the course of the 5 years, there were many who were favored by His Excellency to serve, but not all of them finished with us the way God was so gracious with us to finish with His Excellency in the course of 5 years. And so we both consider this to be an act of grace, and I'm sure we both remain indebted to family, friends, colleagues, and all of those. And I must at this point pay tribute to our friends in the media, both traditional and social, who stood with us, who gave us the platform. So when I saw the name Salimatu, I reached out to my friend Monoma on WhatsApp, and I was like, wow. So President Bureau in Atokedu, when he speaks. And today, when you look at young people in the cabinet, when you look at Chairman of Bar of Purposeful, the number of Waitman them and world leaders with this man don't meet and talk to, we don't shake their hands. If we put down the number on a gallery, he is so accomplished, yet very simple, very modest. And for a man like this to look at Purposeful, something he literally created with his own hands. And I think they call Purposeful the first global hub for feminist action. So for somebody to say, I am maybe leaving this or delegating this huge responsibility to someone else to come and serve as Minister of Information and Civic Education, Chelno, it's a fantastic sacrifice that you have made for the people of Sierra Leone, and for that God richly bless and establish you. And I see Salimatu, a colleague of mine, a very fine lawyer who's worked extensively in DSTI as well. And in His Excellency's estimation, information now is separated from communications. Like in Ghana, I think they have a Ministry for Communications and Digitalization. So when you see Salimatu, and when I saw that name, and I see what she has accomplished as a lawyer, and also as somebody who's worked with DSTI, and with the wealth of experience and qualification that you have, Salimatu, we have no doubt in our minds that you will match up to this expectation. And we want both of you, together with my very fantastic friends, this don't get you into don't have to talk. So I am succeeding Keketoma, and I recall the first meeting. And I have said this privately, I've said this to Keketoma, to you personally, I've said this on air many times. You did a fantastic work as press secretary. And so when people, So when eventually Keketoma Canton, this lawyer, maybe you know say he's been in this advocacy for President Bill, so it just don't crystallize. You know, so you did a fantastic work there, and it's a legacy that I will build on. I have always said this. And that my political friend sitting to your right, the wonderful Sano, you know, and Sano is a very great guy. He's a consummate, technical, professional, but also with a strong political heart, who means well first for His Excellency and for Sierra Leone. So, Mr. Minister, I think even though it has pleased His Excellency to unbundle our conjoined twins, so now you oversee the unbundling of SACAP, now President Biona now oversee the unbundling of the ministry. And we can only wish you well, honestly, and we stand ready. We will support you to every length, the same way we believe that you will also support us. I just see switching roles. I go at the talk of Benzema and Vinicius. People they ask me, what's in a relationship now with the Minister of Information or presidential spokesman? I think I just like Vinicius and Benzema. You know, Vinicius day 7, quick, you don't go 11. Nobody don't get for tell us you know can't play and win. Because we are all delivering for one president and for one nation. I am so grateful that President Bill has taken this decision. We would not have asked for more. And I wish you all the best. And you have a fine permanent secretary who has not spared us the grammar, something he's used to. And I believe he will support you. And with His Excellency's vision to transform the bureaucracy, I believe all of that will work good for Sierra Leone. So I want to again thank you. I want to thank you, Minister Suare, for the opportunity that you gave me, the mutual respect that we had, the trust, and what we were able to achieve together. And I similarly wish you well, Minister Suare, in your new role. That is your ecosystem. And I believe in labor, in employment, in social security, you will do well. And all of you, from Director Jallo to Director Toure, and strategic comms, and all of you in information and communications, it's been a pleasure working with you. I wish you the very best in life, and God richly bless us all. Thank you.
Wise King Solomon. Actually, Solo is a chief, a very careful speaker. Based on synopsis of what we've got this morning, I think we clearly understand the roles and what has been the vision so far. On this note, we would like now to come to the heart of the program, which is the main nucleus of this ceremony, to listen attentively to the parting shots of the outgoing Minister of Information and Communication. I believe members of the Fourth Estate, colleagues of the ministry, and other associated MDAs may want to listen attentively, because this is going to be the handing over remarks or statement from the minister himself, and to now what Solo described as unbundling of the two, the one ministry to two. So we now have the singular honor to invite the Honorable Minister of Labor, Employment and Social Security, formerly the Minister of Information and Communications, Mr. Mohammed Rahman Suare, for his delivery now. Thank you.
Good morning, colleague ministers, Press Secretary, formerly Deputy Solomon Jamiru, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to do a very unusual thing. I am not noted for reading prepared speeches, but today is a very historic moment. I think it's only but fair that I stay on script. But let me share this quick fun with you. I was meant to have been handed over to yesterday following the confirmation hearings. We finished late, so there was no confirmation, there was no handing over. So I spoke to my colleagues, even though I forgot to tell the permanent secretary. I talked to my colleagues, said, look, colleagues, handover will now be at 11 instead of 10. You know, the reason for the little secret for that was, you know, you need to get some power before you hand over the one you have. So this morning, I was scheduled to take over from the Minister of Labour and Social Security, you know, before I come here. So as I stand before you, you know, you were right to have addressed me as the Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security. If they had not handed over to me, it might have been difficult to do that description. So, Keke, this is Politics 101. Yeah, you don't give the one you have until you have another. Totes, does that resonate well? So, I thought I needed to talk about that. So I'm going to stay on script. Well, I really pray I do.
That's good for us. Very good for us.
As my tenure ends today at the Ministry of Information and Communications, I'm honored to outline the key achievements and challenges that have shaped our journey during my time in office. These accomplishments are in line with the Ministry of Information and Communications mandate and commitments outlined in the New Direction Manifesto and the Medium-Term National Development Plan. Key achievements. But let me say this before I continue with the script. Siba challenge me, I will not stay on script. You know, so distinguished new ministers, you have to thank your lucky stars. I took over here in May 2018 without a colleague minister from the same party that I could reference, that I could call, that I could ask for experience, and I could share challenges for response. So you remember that? Yes, you are quite lucky. You are taking over from me, and by the sheer grace of God and His excellencies, continuing trust and confidence, I am still around and in government. I'm only a telephone call away. We sit in cabinet, we can cross-fertilize ideas, we can share experiences and all of that. So that is why you are lucky. But in this second phase, as I move on to the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, I have also been blessed. My predecessor, immediate predecessor, and I belong to the same party. He's in country and he's assured me unfettered access. You know, what more can I ask for? So I'm very pleased. You have it, I have it. Yes, so it's about 200 over, not so? Yeah. So this one is for information. Okay, key achievements. You know, Solo has spoken about it. That's the danger. You have to be smart. Otherwise, if Solo speaks before you, you know, they will just say, I mean, just get out of the stage now. You know, but we are used to this, right, Solo? Absolutely. So, repeal of 1965 Criminal Public Order Act. One of our significant achievements as a ministry and indeed as a government was the repeal of restrictive 1965 Public Order Act, which had potential implications for freedom of expression and peaceful assembly. The removal of this act underscores His Excellency President Bio's commitment to promoting media freedom and protecting citizens' rights to express their ideas without fear of persecution. Establishment of the Strategic Communications Unit. We successfully established the Strategic Communications Unit to provide policy guidance and strategic direction on media, public information, broadcasting, and postal services. This unit has played a pivotal role in enhancing government communication, ensuring consistent messaging, and fostering transparency and public engagement. To that team, the STRATCOM team, I'm wholly indebted. I'm grateful for the support. Enhanced community engagements and COI popularization. We proactively engage communities and disseminated information on the commissions of inquiry and post-COI findings, These efforts have fostered transparency, accountability, and public participation in governance matters, promoting a deeper understanding of the COI process among citizens. National Media Viability and Investment Conference. We successfully organized the first ever National Media Viability and Investment Conference with SLAG, facilitating discussions to address challenges and opportunities in media viability. This initiative aims to create a sustainable media landscape that supports independent and ethical journalism, fostering democratic development. National Fund for Public Interest Media. We collaborated with SLAG to establish a National Fund for Public Interest Media, securing financial support from international partners. The fund aims to support responsible media initiatives, prioritizing public interest journalism and promoting a diverse and vibrant media landscape. Rebooted the Sierra Leone News Agency. The rebooting of the Sierra Leone News Agency and Sierra News newspaper marks a significant effort by the government to revitalize and strengthen the country's media landscape. The Sierra Leone News Agency is a critical media agency responsible for disseminating government policies and information to the public. The decision to reboot SLENA indicates the government's commitment to improving transparency and communication with the citizens. By enhancing its operations, SLENA aims to become a more efficient and reliable source of news and information for the people of Sierra Leone. Community Radio Pilot Project. The implementation of the Enhancing Community Radios project has improved information dissemination in underserved areas. Portable radio broadcasting equipment was supplied, empowering community radios to play a vital role in promoting local voices and fostering community engagement. Press conferences and town hall meetings. We have conducted weekly national and monthly regional press conferences and town hall meetings, enabling effective communications and engagement with citizens across the regions. These interactions have allowed us to address public concerns and provide updates on various matters of public interest. Capacity strengthening of SLBC. We procured state-of-the-art HD video cameras for the SLBC and facilitated rehabilitation works at SLBC headquarters and Kono, strengthening their broadcasting capabilities. We facilitated the payment of multi-TV satellite connectivity, enhancing SLBC's broadcasting capabilities and reach. Annual media and CSO engagements. We organize annual media and civil society engagements to promote transparency and accountability in fulfilling the New Direction Manifesto commitments. Annual subventions to SLAG. We increase the subvention to SLAG to support its vital role in safeguarding press freedom and promoting ethical journalism. Right to access information regulations. In addition, I am pleased to inform you that during my tenure, we have made significant progress in developing comprehensive regulations for Right to Access Information Commission. These regulations are aimed at ensuring that effective implementation of the Right to Access Information Act, which was passed in October 2013. IMC Act and regulations. We achieved a significant milestone in the media regulatory landscape with the enactment of a new Independent Media Commission law. This new law, which replaced the previous one established in 2005, is a testament to our commitment to promoting a robust and independent media sector in Sierra Leone. Furthermore, we have made considerable progress in developing comprehensive regulations to complement the new IMC law. These regulations provide detailed guidelines for the implementation and enforcement of the law, covering aspects such as licensing, content monitoring, election campaign coverage, and compliance with media standards. Government printing press. We increase the efficiency of the government printing press, recognizing the critical role of the government printing department in disseminating information and promoting government policies. We took several measures to enhance its operations and capabilities. Distinguished ministers and other colleagues in the room. Challenges. We acknowledge the following challenges that require attention and collective efforts. Availability of funds. This is a broken record, right? Did I go through it? Okay, so I'm keeping that. I'm concluding. Colleague, distinguished ministers, the Honorable Press Secretary. Well, oops, I forgot we were warned yesterday not to use that one. Yeah, but don't worry, you are an honorable man. I'm confident that Mr. Minister Chernoba and his deputy, Keke Thomas Sandi, will carry forward this ministry's mission with dedication and enthusiasm. their commitment to promoting transparent communication, media freedom, and public engagement will undoubtedly yield positive dividends. I wish the minister success in all their endeavors and stand ready to provide any assistance during this transition period. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all heads of departments and agencies and team members in the information ecosystem for your unwavering dedication and hard work in fulfilling our aspirations during this long journey of 5 years. The achievements we have accomplished together would not have been possible without your commitment and support. Finally, on the information and civil society component, I also want to thank the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists for their partnership and solidarity. This has been instrumental in achieving our shared vision of promoting media freedom, enhancing access to information, and fostering a vibrant and responsible media ecosystem in Sierra Leone. So to this team here at the Ministry of Information, we have had our moments. You know me, when I want to achieve results, I don't take prisoners. You know that. I mean, that's the only reason we have had issues in the past. When I want to achieve results, governments are for 5 years. Our ministers serve at the discretion of His Excellency. So my mantra is, during these 5 years while I'm here, we have to do our very best. We have had our moments, but probably that's the secret for our collective success. So to the new ministers, I might have to induct you into some of that, you know, as you take on the new mantle of leadership. You really have great guys amongst the team. They will manifest themselves in coming days. Well, guys, it was meant to be generic. You also have very, you know, in fact, one of my most outstanding staff here is a female. Madam Marma Yoma is leading the NC3, the National Cyber Security. She took it from concept through formation and has been able to garner a lot of national and international attention. She is currently on the path of acceding this country to the Budapest Convention, which is the global gold standard for cyber security and related issues. You know, but that's for a more in-depth conversation. So Mama, Momini Jalo, PS, and all of you, I did not want to start name calling because somebody might say they're not calling my name. To all of you, I'm grateful because you were able to endure my instant delivery tendencies. You answer the midnight calls when I want materials, and I'm ever indebted and grateful. Just so that there will be synergies between this ministry and the new Ministry of Employment, Labor and Social Security. The IT department has to support me to set up properly. The information, you have to support me with Stratcom to make me visible in the new role. You know, so, but we'll talk about that after this. So, it is now my pleasure. Come, let me hand over. No, let me hand over to Chairman.
Yes, that's what
This is your. My dear brother and colleague, it is now my distinguished honor and pleasure to hand over the mantle of leadership of the Ministry of Information, now dubbed Ministry of Information and Civic Education, into your very capable hands. I have no doubt at all that you will build on the successes we have made together, that you continue to ensure that government's presence is felt everywhere through bridging the communications gap. God bless you. I'm only a telephone call away. We will continue to engage. Thank you. God bless.
Let's do the picture.
Let me say Mr.
Prominently in the
as the group's elder brother.
you prominently. Solo go.
Discrimination, we're all going there and Thank you, John. The assistant speech, eh?
Yes,
You do
yes,
that. Do that. Okay. So we do together, eh?
Yes.
Okay, so let me do communication. Okay, so communications, right? So this time, I have stayed on script for the most part. You know, because as Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security, you don't just talk, you know, because if you mistake and say I have X number of jobs, you have yourself to blame. So I'm taking the message discipline I will preach over the years forward. Distinguished colleagues, those of you who have been part of this journey will recall that I took over as Minister of Information and Communications in May 2018. At the time, the ministry was faced with a lot of challenges in both the media landscape and in leveraging technology to drive productivity. This ministry was principally responsible to lead policy formulation and provide a regulatory framework for productivity in the information, communications, and technology sector, including telecommunications, media, and film industries. It informs the public about economic and social activities while promoting democratic culture through enhanced press freedom and the right to information of the people. In addition to its policy and regulatory roles, the ministry also oversees government's ownership interest in ICT-related institutions and programs by fitting them into the sector's requirements in the context of the economic and social development plans of the state as indicated in the medium-term development plan. Sector institutions under the remit of the ministry are categorized into postal services, telecommunications, broadcasting, press, and information, but I'm going to zero in now. Today, you are inheriting a ministry that is on the threshold to leverage on the government's commitment to digital technology and the media to transform Sierra Leone into the digitally inclusive society, with digital technology as means to unleash the innate potentials of every citizen to leapfrog the country's socio-economic development. Upon assumption of office, recognizing that the growth and development of an ICT, telecoms, and the media sector is hinged on a sustainable policy and strategic framework that ensures a competitive environment for the development and provision of ICT telecom services, stimulating innovation, creating scope for universal access, and increasing consumers' choices, I embarked on serious reforms in tandem with the New Direction Manifesto. Central to drive the reforms that were set out was the development of key policies, strategies, legal and regulatory frameworks for both the ICT, telecoms, and the media sector. The following policy strategies have been developed. The National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy has been approved by Cabinet. The National Digital Development Policy approved by Cabinet. The National Digital Development Strategy awaiting Cabinet approval. The Electronic Transaction Act of 2019 approved, enacted. The Communications Act of 2022 enacted. The Cybersecurity and Crime Act of 2021 enacted. The Data Protection and Privacy Bill, which was principally led by the NCRA in the beginning, is at Law Officers Department. The Digital Government Legal Framework to be developed under the World Bank supported project. The review of the IMC Act, repeal of Part 5 of the Public Order Act, all of this done. So, pending policy, legal and regulatory framework. There is still to be enacted the Data Protection Bill, Cabinet approval of the National Digital Development Strategy, Cabinet approval of the Government of Sierra Leone Enterprise Architecture, validation approval of the National Broadband Strategy. That has been done with support from DIAL and other partners, right? Cabinet approval of the National Data Strategy, popularization of the National Data Strategy, and NDDP. Institutional reforms, there are so many. I will just go through the achievements. I mean, the rest of it you can read through the notes. Achievements. Internet penetration increased from 370,000 in 2018 to 2.6 million users in 2022. Right? That's noteworthy. This is more than a quantum leap. It's a gigantic leap, if you like. Okay, so internet penetration jumped from 370,000 to over 2.6 million users. Expanding fiber networks to 5 more districts: Kayalam, Pujiam, Moyamba, Bont, and Koinadugu. Creating district metro rings for e-government services. Development of $50 million digital transformation project, which is now a grant. That fund is awaiting utilization to be able to support His Excellency's digital transformation agenda. Principally, The threefold objectives are increase internet access, enhance digital education, and to support government to be able to deliver digital services digitally. You also started discussions on the Smart Sierra Leone project with the Chinese government. We have also done, okay, the following were achieved under the e-government and digital services. Deployment of a centralized emailing system for MDAs, including foreign missions, because before now, people use their private emails, people in positions of trust. That was embarrassing. I took over here as Minister of Information in 2018. There were many conferences that I missed out of because they principally did not have an address for us. They kept sending it to the private email of the erstwhile minister. You know, so one day, you know, somebody connected us, we went to a session, and they said to us, but we have not been seeing Sierra Leone at meetings. But we did not receive the letters because it kept going to somebody's private email. So that was one problem we solved. So including foreign missions, now there's a dignity, there's a surety that you will get. Okay, so deployment of centralized emailing system, including foreign missions, completion of National Digital Fiber Phase 2 is awaiting handing over, but I think it's already been used, right? By Leocom? Yes. Deployment and management of the government open data platform, management of government website hosting platform, upgrading of e-government network for effective delivery of digital services, including internet services to MDAs, development of government enterprise architecture, digital skills training through SADA and DAL for ICT staff across key ministries, departments, and agencies, the signing of Smart Africa Digital Academy, MOU with the government of Sierra Leone, development of a document workflow tracking system, many things we have done together. So, Salima and my dear Mr. Abraham Saddam, you have your job cut out for you. Like I mentioned, you have a very formidable team back here. This is a team that I had relied on over the years. They will support you every inch of the way. I will encourage you to work with them. I am just a telephone call away. I am always willing, able, and ready to support you every inch of the way. You know, this is also part of seeing that these things that we started together are taken to the next higher level. So it's about a legacy project for me as well. So if you're in cabinet, you'll find a friend in me, but we have to get them done. Because His Excellency is very clear. He wants to lead by a digitally inclusive Sierra Leone. And we already have built a lot of very formidable partnerships that will help us deliver on that. So on that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me congratulate you on your appointments and to assure you my unflinching support every inch of the way. To the Ministry of Information and Communication staff that I led, I'm very excited, even though they say goodbyes are awkward and difficult, particularly at the best of times. It's been a very interesting 5 years. We have celebrated many things together. We have had our challenging moments, but we never took our eyes off the ball. I enjoy you, even as you go into this divorce. This is going to be a very seamless divorce. No acrimonies, nobody's going to court. No child custody issues, I'm sure. It's going to be very seamless. I will expect that you continue to support the new team. There are a lot of old hands here. Cherno, you come highly recommended. You have a larger than life antecedents. Salima, I just heard your profile. You and I have not been able to speak a lot, but I'm sure in coming days we can have time to do that. Kalilu is here. He's a civil society person, but he's a civic education expert. He took this from concept through theorizing, through cabinet, and now I understand it's a huge cash machine. Is that? Anyway, I mean, so support your leaders. The leaders too, please leverage the potentials you have here. Yeah? Keep an open mind. I have assured myself, that is how I do. In the course of the journey, I form opinions. And once those opinions are formed, you know me, I stick to them for a while until I have good reason to break from them. So I keep such an open mind when I work with people. So it's now my pleasure and privilege to just Just before anybody imagines, I never took double salaries. I had one salary. So probably His Excellency will consider that to give me some bonus. So my dear sister, my dear Madam Minister for Communications, Technology and Innovation, it is my pleasure and distinguished honor to hand over the mantle of leadership of this new and enhanced ministry to your able leadership. I want to guarantee you, unlike me who had the experience of not having somebody to turn to ask questions, you are opportune to have me around, and by His Excellency's grace, also in cabinet. You can be sure you have somebody to talk to, you have somebody to cross-fertilize ideas with. On that note, let me congratulate you on your appointment and wish you the very best. Thank you very much. God bless you. Yes. You now want them to respond. Yeah. No, you can go. You can go. You can go. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And this time, we want an acceptance and response from our ministers. We take this opportunity now to invite our Minister of Communication, Technology and Innovation to respond to this handing over.
Good morning, everybody. I did not prepare a speech. I intend to keep this short. Well, I say I intend, but I'm a lawyer by trade, and they say we like to hear our own voice, so I might go on and on and on, but I'll try to keep this very short. But I want to start off by saying, distinguished ministers, the permanent secretary, the heads of department, my colleagues now at the ministry, the Fourth Estate and the CSOs present here today, I would like to say on behalf of myself and my Deputy Minister, Mr. Sano, how grateful we are for the opportunity to serve and for the opportunity to come into this ministry and work with you. I would like to start off by saying to the Honorable Minister, who's now outgoing, well, the Deputy is left, but the message will carry on. I would like to say to both of you, thank you for all of the work that you have done, for all of the significant gains that you have made, specifically within the region of the regulation and legislation when it comes to communications. Those are significant gains, and as a lawyer, those are things I can definitely appreciate. Also, the significant gains you've made with internet penetration, as you said, that's astronomical in terms of where we were before and where we are now. So I would like to say thank you for your leadership and where you've taken this ministry to. And I would like to assure you that myself and my colleague are going to build up on the legacy that you have left and the good work that you have done. And at this stage, actually, I would like to ask everybody to stand up and give a round of applause for the good work to the Minister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll continue, as you said, we'll continue to lean on your guidance and support. We'll be on your phone every day asking you questions. Myself and Mr. Sano, one of the things we love to do is engage. We have no problems in terms of asking questions where we don't know or where we feel somebody else could provide insight. So we'll definitely be leaning and looking up to your expertise and your guidance. To the staff that are going to be here, and I think I'd like to start off. I think I'm not a stranger to this ministry. During the years I've spent at DSTI, I have been engaging with a couple of you, but to the ones that I have not had the fortune yet or the honor yet of meeting in person, I look forward to building a relationship. I'm a very informal person. I like to have a one-on-one relationship with everybody, so I look forward to us building and establishing that relationship. So the permanent secretary, who's serving both ministries right now, I would like to say thank you as well for all the work you've done and providing the background support, because without you, the ministry would not be able to function as it has done. To the heads of department, I would like to also say thank you for all the work you've done. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. To the project staff, all the other support staff, and I specifically actually want to mention the support staff, such as the people, the secretaries, the securities, the cleaners, the drivers. I would specifically like to recognize you because sometimes you're the least or you're the last to be recognized, but I want to say without the work that you do in the background, what we do as the technicals or leaders would not be possible. So I definitely want to say thank you, and I look forward as well to working with all of you. So while the leadership of the ministry is changing, the work, I think, continues to remain the same. We're building up. This is not a change. We're not doing drastic changements. We're just building up on the work that's been done. And as much as we're adding another sector, which I think the ministry was already working on in terms of digital transformation, but this is one area, I think, if you look at the president's agenda in terms of the big five, digital transformation underlines most of them. Digital skills training, ecosystem development, digital transformation, government digital delivery. I think all of that really undermines all of them, and we will really have to do a lot of work to ensure that the government and the president's vision and agenda is successful. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you in order that we achieve that. We're going to work hard. We're also going to play hard. I believe in it cannot all be serious every day. The only way I think we succeed is if we play together, we work together, and I look forward to all the wins that we're going to have. In terms of the division, so to say, this is not a divorce. I like to consider the Ministry of Information and Civic Education. I'll consider them my sister ministry. Thankfully, the minister and the deputy minister, they've been my brothers. We've had a long established relationship. There's definitely not going to be any custody battle fight over mandates or resources. We're going to work together. We're going to make decisions based off what is good for the country, because at the end of the day, even though we might have different mandates, at the end of the day, we're working towards what's best for the country and towards one agenda of the president's agenda, making sure that's successful. So I look forward to working with them to see how we make the decisions within this transition phase that makes sense, that would ensure that both ministries are successful during this period. So as I said, I promise to keep it short. I think I'd actually specifically like to mention the Fourth Estate. Even though we're dividing, I hope, and you're going over to my sister ministry, I hope you'll be kind and accommodating to my ministry as well. I look forward to engaging with you as well. And also actually with even the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Employment, there's going to be a lot of work, I believe, especially when it comes to digital skills development that we will be doing with the minister. So, we're not completely dividing, we're just shifting and changing roles, but we'll all continue working together. So thank you very much, and as I said, I look forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation. If a woman would not have spoken here, then somebody may have questioned about gender balance, so we were very sensitive to let you speak first. And after that, we will now call on the new Minister for Information and Civic Education for a response.
It's very hard to follow such brilliant speakers. Is it good afternoon yet? Good afternoon? How do I do? Mr. Outgoing Minister, my colleague minister, my sister, the Minister of Communications Innovations and Technology, my brothers, the 2 deputy ministers, the permanent secretary, directors, staff, friends of this great ministry, members of the 4th Estate, our friends in civil society, I greet you well. I want to start by acknowledging the exceptional work that Mr. Soiree here has done in this ministry. I think I said in front of Parliament, I said this for public record, that whatever we do, whatever I do, will be to build on the tremendous work that he's already done. I had a minute to peruse the handover notes that he just gave to me, and I have to say that I'm in awe. It's also to your collective credit that His Excellency the President has decided that your work was so much that it now needs to be divided into 2 separate ministries. So I think you should all applaud yourselves because you have done such fantastic work as a minister. I want to place on record my gratitude to His Excellency the President for considering me worthy of this very solemn responsibility to lead the Ministry of Information and Civic Education. My sister, Madam Minister Ba, has said it. She is my sister. We come from, in fact, I already know saying Ba mean Ba. So you cannot be telling us saying I'm a sister, I know saying I'm a sister. But apart from us both being Ba, we are actually sisters, siblings. I know her, I love her. I'm going to fight for her to succeed as if it is because her success is my success. That's going to be the same thing. For those of you who don't know, Minister Keke and I met at the Albert Academy in JSS 1. We don't deal fit. Well, see, I don't deal bitter. But he's been a dear brother of mine all these years. And the deputy minister there is our junior brother. So this is what I'm trying to emphasize here is this is a family gathering. And that's going to be our attitude to you. I see a lot of people in this room that I love, I respect, people who taught me in school, people who I was working with at CFN, people who are my club mates, people who are my fraternity mates, people whose work I've admired from afar. So our attitude is going to be, let's work as a family. So I want, if anybody has any anxiety, I want to assure you that there's no need to worry. You are going to work with people who see you first and foremost as your people. You're all our people. And that's going to be our attitude to working with you. I've had the privilege of leading institutions in my life. At Purposeful, for those of you who know, we're a family. I fight for the people that are on my team as if I fight for you. Because I understand that I cannot, never ever succeed if the people that I work with are not happy, fulfilled, and motivated. So, to the ministry staff, that's what is going to be my first priority, to understand what everybody wants and how I can fight to champion your needs. In exchange though, my senior brother, my in-law, Minister Soiree, said that I do come with a little bit of a reputation. And it's a reputation, I must say with some humility, that's a reputation of excellence. It's mediocrity is not allowed. There will be a time, a transition period, where we engage on how do we do even better. As I said, we have to build on what's been done. But I know why we, Minister Gadu, no realize, we got to go on all this standard can do. They have to see that what he did was to lay a foundation that we're going to take to the next level. His Excellency President Bio has chosen the youngest cabinet in our history, the most diverse cabinet in the history of this country. He has put his faith in young people. Many of you are young people. We owe it to our generation to change the dynamics. We owe it to children and young people, to this world, not just in Sierra Leone, by the way, but across other countries, to other presidents, to see that you can actually make a bet on young people and they will deliver. We're going to do that. I believe in us. I believe in us, you know. Salima and I have a mutual friend who is long departed. He used to say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. And some of you knew PJ Mandela Code. I want to leave you guys with those words this morning. We are the ones we are waiting for. We have a really good chance to make history, to make people see this ministry, these two ministries, the envy of this nation, to make people look at us and say, this is the place I want to work, these are the people I want to be with, because we live in an information age. It's the most important thing in this generation. And the president succeeds, we all win, if and only if we make sure we are the absolute best. And that's the goal. We're going to get there. Thank you.
Precisely, I think the message is hammered and brought home. On this note, just for a pause for the press, I will now humbly and graciously request the Honorable Minister of Information and Communications to please come up, and the two ministers for a photo for the press, and that will be followed by a photo with the deputy ministers. And later, the permanent secretary will join the four. So let's have it for the press, please.
The family is actually here to support the minister.
We recognize the family of the honorable ministers who are here to, witness the handing over ceremony. I think they will have an opportunity to do that as well, to have a shot. We'll now invite, I count three, by normal tradition for all cameras, and they are looking straight, so position yourself. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. We now invite the two deputy ministers to join them. Are we there? All right. I tell you. Okay, after 3, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Yes, please join the team. You are the only permanent secretary with the team. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. We ask Director Jallo, Director Nyoma, Mariama, and this time I'll ask Juliana, can we use the 3 chairs for the ministers so they sit and we stand at the back, please, because of the space. Bring one more.
No, please don't be fine.
We can stand.
At least let me say that before. There has been no mention of civic. And you're going to stand by me.
Now I mentioned it.
And you stand by me as well.
You have to stand by him.
No. You stand by me. No, you will stand by me as well.
No small ministers.
You will stand by me as well.
After 3, can we go? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And we invite the family.
Oh, they're here as well.
Please.
Any other family?
Any other family member?
For family members.
Any other family member? Okay, shall we? Gentlemen and ladies,
Members
one.
is na Sarah Fox Media and we the Ministry of Information and Communication. When the ministry don't divide now,
After 3, please.
as information is separate and communication is separate, and today now handing over
2,
as Honorable
3. Thank you.
Announcement. The appointed minister.
You see item, the last item on the program, we ask you take your seat for refreshment. We have some nice invitations for lunch. We have some nice and delicious food for lunch.
So from Willem, this na the handing over ceremony where we can witness na the Ministry of Information and Communication.
The minister is
Members
asking
is
that
Sarah Fox Media.
we interact.
Don't
There is
bring,
some nice refreshment. Okay,
current updates.
guest
will
for
happen
refreshment to
inside.
interact. Please, let's take our seats. Please, stay where you are. So, journalists, for post interview, you can do it later. But we want to interact, yeah?
Okay, so what's now? Once it's already, it's all
So from Willem, if you don't follow it, members now will follow this na Sarah Fox Media, and today we come at the ministry Usai, the outgoing minister we na Mr. Gado Swari don't hand over to the new appointed ministers then with Minister of Information and Civic Education we na Chegnoba, and as well as the other minister Mrs. Ba from the communication and innovation. So we didn't also today, as soon as they don't get the updates, as we don't get to know exactly how the whole events don't carry on. Don't forget for share, don't forget for like, and don't forget for follow, so that anytime when we come on board, you will be the first person for get to.